give you the thumbs up in just a
Make
second.
sure it's not upside down.
It's not. Okay, so let's get rid of there.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deborah Rose with Realty One Group in beautiful Payson, Arizona. And I am here on the talk show. We have a very special guest today that I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But first, I want to thank Cameron Davis and Chaz Davis of Razor Thin Media for helping us put on this show. And I want to recommend that if you have any questions, please ask. We will get to them and share this show. It's very important since our illustrious guest today is the current mayor, Mr. Tom Morrissey. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Well, thank you, Deborah. I'm happy to be here.
It's good to have you back.
Oh, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, like your cowboy hat. You're the real deal cowboy law enforcer, but many people may have never met you or heard about you yet. So why don't you give people just a little encapsulation of what you've done in your life to date?
Well, the highlight of my life was my career as a deputy U.S. Marshal, and I rose through the ranks to the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal for the Federal District of Arizona. When I retired from that, the governor appointed me into DES, Department of Economic Security. I went in as the Inspector General, and they converted that over to the bigger job of Chief of the Office of Special Investigations. I have my educational background. I graduated magna cum laude from Ottawa University in Law Enforcement Administration. Went on to ASU, and I'm a certified public manager. I went through that course and that certification. I was a rock musician early in my life, and with the heart. I won't sing young, but I did that. I was chairman of the Arizona Republican Party during the time when Mitt Romney ran for president. That was a historical period in time, and you go back and check it if you want. It never happened before. It hasn't happened since, when we won every statewide position. We welcomed into the party the Latino community, and they came in droves because they are everything Republicans claim to be. And we had an enormous success, and the way I know that was I was interviewed the Thursday after the two-day election by the New York Times, who told me they analyzed the elections, and we were the #1 Republican Party in the country by far after that election. So what we did was we went from I'm a grassroots guy, blue-collar grassroots. I did not have the cooperation of the establishment, and as it turned out, it did better without it. But we brought the people in we needed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my background. When I worked in the Marshal Service, I spent 8 years chasing drug dealers, and I worked the cartels. I really was working with DEA more than anything else. A lot of success there. I worked major cases all over the world. I worked the Caribbean. I worked all over the country. I worked in Asia, that's what got me promoted to chief deputy, because of some of the arrests I made.
That comes in handy now as our current mayor. We do have a problem with drugs and crime because of the highway. There's only 2 highways really to run drugs on, and that's I-17 and the Beeline Highway. So talk to us a little bit about that, what you've done to initiate some action.
Well, I'll go back to when I was Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal. I was one of the founders of a task force, called HIDA, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. And we put together Deputy U.S. Marshals, ATF, Sheriff's Departments, local police departments, I think I said DPS. And we created a task force that worked around the state, cleaning up areas that were infested with drugs. The task force, since its founding, has now grown to other task force around. GIT'em is one of them, the gang task force. So what happens, what's been happening now, since I've taken office, I've been very, very concerned about the drug activities, and there's a lot in our town, folks. There's a lot here. a lot going through our town now since what's going on the border. We have the porous border, and so there's a lot needs to be done. So what I've been working on and have been able to accomplish with our police chief, who's really an excellent police chief, Ron Tischer. And what we've been able to do is to get the participation in the drug task forces, and we have a position assigned to it, and you have to do that so you can get them to come through. They come into town, they do a sweep. You don't even know they're here, and they come in and they do it periodically. So that has been an excellent tool for some of the drugs we're dealing with. And folks, heroin is a major concern. Fentanyl is a killer, and fentanyl is killing a lot of our young people. And now they're making it like candy.
Yes.
This thing it's astronomical. And meth, methamphetamine is a plague. It really is. And so we've had a lot of success with that. But there's more to do, way more to do. And I feel I'm the right kind of do. I know how to lead. Every organization I have been a part of, I have gone in at the bottom and I've risen to the top. And that's because I know how to get things done, and I have the spine to do them. I feel that that's critically important with the next 2 years that we're facing. Is going to be probably the most challenging that this town has ever faced. And folks, you got to ask yourself, who do you want in a leadership position? You want somebody that has taken us through many crises since I've been in office. Four different, from the pandemics to major snowstorms that crippled the town that we were able to mitigate, and 2 catastrophic fires. And I know how to do this. I know how to lead, and I am proven. I mean, you look at my record, and look at Chris Higgins, who I'm running against.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I want to go back in time when you were first mayor, and you said something just a few minutes ago that you can, something about the establishment, you can only rise to the level of the establishment, but you were, as soon as you got sworn into office, within weeks, they started a recall. Unite Payson started a recall on you, and some of the sitting council members, who are still sitting council members, signed that petition to recall you.
Not only signed it, they circulated.
They signed it, circulated. So they must have been afraid of some things. But before I get to that, I want to ask you that question. When they lost at the Supreme Court, they then issued an $87 million lawsuit against you and Councilman Jim Ferris. So it's not been easy. You've been stripped of your ability to appoint committees.
Yeah.
And it's like at every turn, they don't frame you in a positive light. And since you're on the front page of the newspapers today, and once again I read it, and of course, you're Mr. Fuddy-Dud, and this gentleman here is Mr. Wonderful. So let's talk about Chris Higgins. What has he done in the last 8 years that you haven't? You've been in office 4 years. Chris has been in office 8 years. What has Chris done that you've seen?
You tell me. I don't see any leadership there. Of course, he hasn't been the mayor. Being the mayor, I have the bully pulpit. But especially the last couple of years, I haven't had the majority. And if you don't have the majority on the town council, you kind of have a look.
Right.
So I can tell you, the only thing I can say to you, Deborah, is compare his record with votes and accomplishments to mine. Mm-hmm. Now I know I see in that article there that he's wondering where the money that I've been able to bring into this community is, and he cites what he's done, and it's admirable. I think eventually venture where you live is.
That wasn't his gig.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
not create a venture where we live.
Well,
That was Craig Swartwood, that was Donovan Christian, that was not his gig.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
Well,
So
but
what else?
That's his claim, and you know, and that's fine. I mean, that's a worthy effort. But when you compare it to what I've been able to do through going across the aisle to Senator Cinema, and getting money through Senator Cinema to solve the biggest problem that we face is catastrophic fire.
Yes.
I mean, there's no other issue that's more important than that. I'll say the fentanyl issue is creeping up, okay? But catastrophic fire is the thing that has worried me since I've moved here, even before I moved here full time. Okay, so we don't want to be, I don't ever want to even think of Paradise, California happening here. Because if we have a catastrophic fire, everything we're talking about right now means nothing. I mean, it's all gone. So I set about finding ways to address this, and started working with Senator Cinema and her staff. She assigned parts of her staff to work with me, and she asked for some help on language with floating a bill that she got passed in the Senate that is in action right now. So I noticed that my opponent is saying, where's the money? Have you seen the lumber trucks that are coming out of the forest that is around our watershed, that's around our reservoir? I mean, you know, that's in effect right now. I just was briefed by the head ranger, Matt Pacharik, on other things that are being done in the forest, where they're creating fire breaks, where they're taking out dead trees, where they're removing crap from the forest floor, and mitigating the danger of a catastrophic fire.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that done before? Why wasn't that addressed before?
Good question.
I mean, Chris Higgins has been sitting on our council now for 8 years, and where were you? I mean, come, I could not. Nothing had been done, and it wasn't an easy accomplishment. I'll tell you that it was difficult to get done what's getting done now, but it's getting done. You know, things that are big challenges, they're not easy to get to complete, but that doesn't stop you. You go and do it.
Correct.
And I mean, it's as simple as that. The only way to get things done, damn it, is to do it. and that's it. And that's what I'm about, and that's what I do.
We'll talk about, we're talking about the forest, so we also have a big problem with homelessness. A lot of homeless people go into the forest, and we don't think about in the wintertime, they could accidentally or intentionally burn down our forest as well. So what have you done to launch a homelessness initiative?
Okay, well, I recognize that from a humane point of view and from a survival point of view and a town survival point of view. So when I first took office, there was a man named Doug Stewart who I had a cup of coffee with Doug one day at Starbucks, forgive me. And so we talked about how we could perhaps help mitigate this homeless situation. So Doug suggested that we have the military tents that we have in town property. They could sleep 35 people at a time. We raise a couple of those, and we create a shelter in the wintertime and some kind of food system. So we set about doing that. Pastor Ritchie joined us, and we went to the council at the Nazarene Church. We tried to do it on their grounds, and it couldn't be done there because some of the issues that it just wasn't really it wouldn't work. So then U-Turn for Christ on Frontier Street, they offered us their property to do it, and so we advised the community we were going to be doing it, and we got a huge pushback from the community on it. So then the Mount Cross Lutheran Church stepped up. They said we can do it here, and we can use the bunkhouse. So I put together the churches in the same room around the same table. I'm good at team building. Okay, I couldn't do it on my own. I wouldn't even begin to know how to do it. Well, I knew it had to be done. So put the churches together, and then ultimately what came out of it is a double award-winning program. A double award-winning program that addresses homeless. It's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Yeah.
We're getting people that not everybody wants to join this thing, but there's people that want to be homeless, and that's it. Yeah. But we brought in community bridges to address addiction, which is a huge cause, and Southwest Behavioral to address mental illness. We brought in counseling, job counseling. But the most important thing we've been able to do with this is we have a database now, so that we can count the people that are homeless. We have we shelter in the winter in adverse weather, and we feed 365 evenings a year, a growing population. We now feed 40 to 50 people every night, and 10 to 12 of those people are young children. Mm-hmm. And a part of that are veterans who are suffering PTSD. And what we're doing, people who've come through that program, they're now working. They're working in the Home Depot. They're working in some of the fast food places. I mean, and the other people, we have a program called Safe Landing. Some people who get caught here, they get stuck here, they're trying to get back home. So we verify that they have a back home to go to. And if they do, we get them on a bus, we give them travel money, and they go home. And we've had success after success with that. So what we're doing is we are getting people help. And there's been these are voiceless people. Mm-hmm. And you know, people say, well, you know, it's a political thing. They don't vote. I'm not looking for their vote. And the people that are doing this, you know, I mean, they're walking saints. The Bryces, Emily and Skylar Bryce are walking saints. Yes. Roscoe Dabney, who heads up the Overcomers Church, is a walking saint. They deal with this every day. Yeah. And I'm honored to know them and to you know, to be able to work with them and to help them. Now, I want to protect them. Yeah, I want to protect the mission. I care. Mm-hmm. Okay, now there's people that are, and I'm not going to say who it is. Okay, but I'm going to tell you this because people need to understand this. And it's not Chris Higgins, okay? I'm not saying that, Chris. But there's people that are in powerful positions today in our town and in our area who believe the best way to solve homelessness is to get a bus, go around and force people on that bus and take them somewhere else. Okay? So when people come up to me and they ask me, well, why am I so focused on homelessness? And I don't know why. I mean, I grew up in a poor neighborhood. I saw poverty every day. I mean, thank God I had food in my belly and a roof over my head, but not much more growing up. But when people come up to me, and a lot of them do, not so much anymore, but they know better. They say, but why are you so focused on homelessness? Why do you? These people don't want to work, and these people don't want. Why are you so focused on it? And my response to them is, I'm assuming you're a Christian, right? And I get the nod of the head. Yes, I am. So what do you think Christ would say? How we would answer that question? And I can see the look from over their face. It's like an oh crap moment. But that's it. You know, if you don't want to help these people, don't get in the way of people that do want to help. And it's an enormous task, and people are being helped, especially when you see little kids. Yeah. I mean that otherwise wouldn't have a meal. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I'll take all the criticism you want to hand out on. Not you. I mean, that people want to hand out on that thing, and it will be an inch away from it.
Yeah, well, that's an important cause, and it's a humane thing to do because we're humans.
Yeah, we're human beings, and these are human beings. Yeah, these are people that they don't know how to get out of it, and they need a hand, and they're getting it now.
Yeah, that's good, and thank you for everything you've done so far. And that's a lot. You know, that's a lot. I have a question about, there's homelessness and then there's affordable housing. It doesn't seem like there's been anything done on that, or maybe there has, it's just not been revealed to your constituents and the general public. But what can be done about that? Because there is a big problem. There is a lack of housing here, and a lot of the working class are being forced out. And I know that's a common problem across America right now,
It is.
but any thoughts or ideas on that?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly working on that. Yeah, you know, I've been accused of being a name dropper. Okay, and well, the names I've dropped are people that I know that are friends of mine that are in positions of power that can help the town. One of them is the governor. The other is the governor's number one person, the director of Department of Administration. I go to them and I go for help. Another one is Tom Simplot, who is the director of the Arizona Department of Housing. And I've known Tom, and Tom and I have been working on trying to mitigate this and to bring about some workforce first-time buyer housing. Because when you say affordable housing, people think it's Section 8, okay? The unfortunate part of this thing is that we can't control the rents. We can't control what the cost of housing is. And you know, in real estate, so if you build a house here, it's 30% higher than you build it like a stick-built house in the valley. So we have to look at alternatives. We have to think outside the box. Another way of getting housing is modular homes, and trying. So that's been the latest effort. But I'll be the first to tell you that this is one uphill battle that is really difficult to solve. Tom has introduced me to developers that have come here and met with me, and the first thing I say to them, what's going to be the pricing on your houses?
Yeah.
He said, well, you know, we can't afford to build them to a standard that where we can't stay in business.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, I believe that we can and we must do something. We got to start somewhere. Yeah. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and that one step that needs to be taken is we need to find a way without government subsidy, without Section 8 housing, to bring this to the fore. And I'll tell you, Deborah, it's hard.
It's hard, and going back, coming back full circle to this, you not being able to appoint people to commissions and things. Who gets to appoint people now? Is it the council?
Yeah. Well, this comes back to management by committee, which never works. Okay. So you have a committee picking a committee. Okay. The way that this has been done since the town was founded is the mayor brings a nominee to the council for an up or down vote. Okay. Now, and I know where this why it's happened this way, where they've removed my authority to do that. And now it's like, I mean, if I bring up a name, it's automatically voted down. All right. Okay. Fine. So, and that's a fact. If you look at the voting, you go back and look at the minutes of the meeting, you see that. Okay. So, what happens now? There were several people whose names were floated for different positions that I would never appoint.
Right.
For a lot of reasons, I won't go into that now. But so what they did was, okay, well, we'll fix you. We'll take away your authority, and then we'll do the appointments. So no matter what, I don't.
Is that even legal? Because that just usurps the authority of. I think there's a constitutional law here about mayors, and could they have actually done that?
No.
And it's hard for me to wrap my brain around that.
Well, it was hard for me to wrap my brain around too. I wanted to wrap my brain around more things than that. But yeah, they could do it. Legal. They did it. They did it. And
so the public needs to know that, you know, there is, going back to the lawsuit, they're afraid of you when you came in. So there's forces that are working against you. Why do you think that is?
You know, I think it's because I'm an agent of change. Okay, and I believe the same thing with our town manager. I believe that Troy Smith is. And when you come in and you have people that have been running this town for a long time, and I'm not talking about Kenny Evans. I want you to know that. I'm not talking about Kenny. There's other people in this town that have been running this town and They're all over the place, and they want to keep it their way. They want to do it their way. Whether their way is the right way or not, that's at root here. That's what they want. So I'm saying, look, this town to me is 10 to 20 years behind where we should be. You look at where we are. Look at the beauty of what we have. Look at the potential. We're 1 hour's beautiful drive from the big city, and an hour and a half from an international airport. Why is this town like the way it is?
Yeah, there's no money. We pay extremely high taxes, and we have nothing to show for it. Great example is the pool. I mean, why wasn't the pool taken care of 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago? And then everyone on the council, I know that you're in minority. What you're saying is you're the minority now.
Yep.
Because of the council, the way the council is voting. So why aren't they listening to people in Payson? They wanted this pool. I know that Chris Higgins has mentioned that he's only willing to work with the MHA Foundation in creating a new pool, and that once it's built, then it's going to be handed to the town of Payson to manage. But why did we take care of the pool in the first place? Why wasn't anyone voting to take care of it before it got dilapidated, and now they want to scrap it only because the MHA is the only solution to having a new pool? No, it's not. That pool can still be resurrected. You were going to put in a splash pad, right? The community wanted a splash pad, voted for it, and what happened? Like, where did it go?
We still don't have it. It's in the planning stages, and we're almost 4 years into this thing, and we have a grant that's going to pay for more than half of it. It's going to go away if they don't start construction on it. But I did it. I've done all I could do. And I'm not trying to point fingers at things, but again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. The only way you get things done is to do them.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna be doing this and all that, I'm not here. It wasn't my life's ambition to be the mayor of Payson. I am honored to be the mayor of Payson, and I'm glad I'm here because I've been able to help the town. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other things I could be doing right now that I could be making. I could be doing things that could be very beneficial. And I'm not going to go there. I have a mission. There's money in the pipeline that hasn't gotten here yet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Senator Sinema has gotten money for help with our roads and streets. We're working. So is Congressman Gosar. Okay. Mm-hmm. The money that came from the federal government was supposed to be rural Arizona for our roads and streets, got grabbed by ADOT, that whole pool of money. And then ADOT is now dispersing the money. Mm-hmm. So I went back to the senator and I said, where's the money? Where's the beef? Mm-hmm. I'll check on it. And so she's working on that. When we in the beginning of the pandemic, when that all started, we were 8 weeks without any money coming into this town. I kept the businesses open in this town. I did not enforce the mask mandates. Yeah. I will not do that.
That's right. I remember that.
Okay.
You did.
And I did not enforce any closures. I tried to keep the businesses going. Compare that to the mayor of Flagstaff, who went the other way and destroyed that town's economy. Shows you, when you have a conservative running stuff, that's what happened. Anyway, so we were 8 weeks in, there was no money coming. I went to Senator Sinema, and I said, I need help. Please help. What do you need? And I told her. Within 3 days, we had money coming in. The unemployment insurance money arrived, boom. The businesses started getting the stipends, boom. Okay? And that's the basket I go to because that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. And whatever I have to do, if Mao Zedong would help this town, I'll work with Mao Zedong. I mean, it's not about it's not about anything other than the benefit of this town. Period.
So in the last couple of minutes here, you're up, you're running in the election, and tell people why they need to vote for you.
Because I am the leader that the town needs. I'm a leader. I'm a born leader. I mean, I'm going to toot my own horn. I have spine. I will go after things that the town needs. I'm not afraid to do that. I have proven myself. I have taken us through crisis after crisis after crisis. And folks, we're looking at a Lulu coming our way because of what's happening on the border. We already know about what's going on with the drugs, with fentanyl, and I can name that, but there's others coming in. We don't know who's in this country. We don't know who's in this state. We don't know who's in our forest now. Okay, well, they're here. And people coming in, you look at what's coming across that border. It's military-aged men. And you'll see sometimes children, and you'll see women. I have no problem with helping families and people that need to be helped, but I sure have a problem with what I'm seeing coming in this country. We're going to be faced with something, and who do you want leading this town when that comes down? You want somebody that was the Chief Deputy United States Marshal, who's gotten us through crisis after crisis, who understands what to do. I know what to do, and I know how to do it, and I damn well will. Do you want that, or do you want somebody that uses his hands and trying to figure out how to do things? You got to see things globally, because that's what impacts this town, and that's why you need me as your mayor.
Excellent. Thank you for your time today. That was really good.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm glad that you're at the helm, and I really appreciate you coming and communicating your vision and all the things that you have done, because you do not get credit in this newspaper.
I never will.
Never will. So, thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And you can also find me at PaysonEasyProperties.com. And thank you. We'll see you again next month. Have a great day.
Thank you all.